This is Matthew Moore from Boston, Massachusetts, and this is my capstone project for CS50s Web Programming with Python and JavaScript. And this is an app I built titled PackBuilder. And so the inspiration for this app is that when you're planning for a backpacking trip, sometimes it can be hard to figure out what you're going to take with you and how much all your gear weighs. And so this app just hopefully simplifies that process for you. So a little bit about the app. It's built using Django and the Django REST framework to build up the API on the back end. And on the front end, there's just a little bit of JavaScript sprinkled in just so you can interact with the API. And I think the coolest part of this for me was this is the first app I've deployed, and so if you want to visit this app yourself, you can go to packbuilder.herokuapp.com and you can give it a shot yourself. So if you need to register for an account, you can register here. Otherwise, you can just log in, and I already have an account, so I'll log in here. And you're greeted with this nice screen. It's just a little welcome, getting started, tells you how to use it, and just the different categories that your gear is broken into. So if you come over here, first we're actually going to skip over my packs and we're going to go to the gear locker. And so the gear locker, just for each user, shows you all the different gear that you have available to you at your disposal. So you might have a bunch of different backpacks or a bunch of different coats and all sorts of different gear for all sorts of different weather. So that's all stored here in your gear locker. So you can see here, we got the brand, description, weight, and whether it's worn or consumable, and then some options here to edit or delete gear. And you can see the gear is broken into all these different categories, which is pretty neat, keeps everything nice and organized. Yeah, so if we wanted to add a new piece of gear here, just hit add new gear, and this modal pops up, and we can say gear brand. So let's say the gear brand is CS50, and the gear description is a nice web app that we're going to bring with us, and its weight is 0 ounces, and it's not worn or consumable. So we can add that here, and yeah, now that's part of our backpacking gear. So we can edit this. Maybe we want to say that this app is consumable, so we'll save that change, and now just edits it for you right here. And finally, if we wanted to delete this piece of gear, we can go ahead and do that too. Now on over to my packs. So I already have a pack built here, but I'll show you kind of how you can add a new pack. So we'll call this one, we'll make a pack for Mount Washington, and this will just be like a day pack. So 1 day, 0 nights, and I don't know, it's like 11 miles or something. So we can add that pack, and it pops up right here. And so actually, maybe it's 12 miles. So we can come here and say edit pack, save changes. And if we wanted to delete it, we could, but let's actually look inside. And so when we first look inside, we can see that our base weight, our worn weight, all of our weights are 0. We have no gear here yet. So let's actually add some gear. Let's add a new piece of gear. Let's add a generic backpack whose weight is 28 ounces. And so this isn't worn or consumable, but we'll go ahead and add this gear, and it pops up here, and we're going to start to see our plot here get filled out, and our different weight cards get filled out. And so let's actually say this turns out to be 34 ounces. We can very quickly update that here, and it gets updated up here as well. We have a couple options here. We could either remove the gear from the pack, so this doesn't permanently delete it, just removes it from this pack, or we can delete it. So let's remove it from the pack, and actually maybe that was a mistake, but we've created that gear now. It's in our gear locker, so we can come here to this button and say add existing gear, and now we have at our disposal all of the gear that's in our gear locker that we can add if we so choose. So we can see that backpack that we just created pops up. So let's go ahead and add that back in, and let's actually also take let's take our headlamp with us as well. So we can add those two things in. And so you can very quickly start to populate your backpack here from your gear locker, or adding new gear as you need. And finally, let's just go back out to my packs. We'll get rid of this Mount Washington pack, and let's look inside this Presidential Traverse Trail pack. So this pack's already filled out, and this is like a lot of my gear, and it's pretty heavy, so all of you ultralight people, give me a break. I'm working on it. And yeah, so you can see you have all the different gear that you might need. Still need to bring some food and water, but everything's in here. And what's pretty cool is that up at the top here you can see the kind of breakdown between your base weight, your worn weight, your consumable weight, and your total weight. And as you edit things, like let's add, I don't know, maybe a super heavy, like let's add like a cast iron skillet or something, and it's gonna have like a 72-ounce weight, so that'll like really add some stuff here. You can see that our plot gets updated to reflect the fact that we now have a 72-ounce cast iron skillet in our backpack, so it's pretty heavy. But let's go back down here and remove that, and our plot gets updated. But if we wanted to add it back in, again, adding existing gear, we could do that. And if we delete it, now it's completely gone, and we go to add existing gear, there's nothing in here. So we've completely removed that from our gear locker. And that's all. Thank you for watching.